Hello, welcome back to BDB, where today we're doing a look that is very much inspired by the new Colourpop Thumper palette from their Bambi collection. I don't have a ton of time to do this, so we are just gonna get started with eye primer as I introduce the video. Now, I think this palette is gorgeous. I talked about this in a previous video, chatting about new releases, but I think that it has such similar vibes to the Chantecaille Butterfly Quad that released recently, except it's, a tiny fraction of the price. I'm gonna set down my primer, and I've been lusting after it. It's such a pretty color story, and I think it's just a perfect set of shades for springtime. Just overall, very pretty. Big fan. So today I want to do a look that is inspired by that sort of green gold shade. And we're going to start out with a very light sort of green cast gold. Here's a swatch of that. I can't show it to you because it's my mirror. And I'm just going to put that all over the lid. We're going to layer up some shimmers to get that sort of duochrome effect. I actually don't think, based on the swatches on Tintalia, that the shade in the Colourpop palette is a duochrome. However, the one in the Chantecaille palette that would give you a very similar effect is definitely at least a duochrome and maybe more of a triochrome. So what we're going to end up with today is probably somewhere in between the two. Now I'm going to top that entire area off with this shimmery green. I'm just going to use that on the same finger. Okay, I also brought over a little bit of mint glitter, but I don't think I'm going to use it today. We're going to show some degree of self-restraint. There's also a really pretty rose gold in the palette, and I happen to have a really pretty rose gold sitting right here. Again, attached to my mirror, but there is a swatch of it. I think this is such a beautiful shade. It has become my absolute go-to the last few weeks to do sort of more professional adult looks. And I'm just putting that in my inner corner. Okay, this is going to be a pretty subtle eye look, so we're actually getting pretty close. Now I am going to take a big fluffy crease brush, and I'm going to dip into sort of a muted mauve purple shade. Not getting a ton of that on the brush, tapping off any excess. We're just going to go over the edges. And I have hooded eyes, so I like to make sure that when I open my eyes, you can see something. A little bit more. And we're also going to run the same shade under my eyes. And for that, I'm actually going to use this pencil brush rather than my usual shader brush. Not for any good reason, just because I'm not seeing my shader brush when I'm looking for it. That gives a nice little bit of added definition without looking too harsh at all. Okay, so that's actually most of the eyeshadow. I do think I'm going to add a little bit of brow bone highlight, so shader brush, and there isn't a shade to do this in the Thumper palette. I'm going to use this shimmery white because it's sitting in front of me and I like it. Just a little bit right on the brow bone. I'm also realizing that I didn't do my brows, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Let's see. Here's my angled brow brush. Now, this is not my favorite shade to use in my brows, but, you know, I don't want to go grab anything else, so I'll use this. I'm going to apply this quite lightly because it's really not a great match for me, but it does the job. Yeah, I think you can tell it's a little more orange, but it's okay. Some mascara, and we're back. You couldn't do a look inspired by Bambi without quite a bit of mascara. That just doesn't seem right at all. Now we're going to move on to cheeks. I have my little Cheekleaders palette, and I think I'm going to use a mixture of these two shades, so Dandelion and Tickle. I'm just going to get those on my usual blush brush and mix them together and go on the apple of my cheeks, and then up and back a little bit, making use of the fact that I have so much highlight on my brush. And a tiny bit across the bridge of the nose, because why not? So I've actually pulled a red lip. I'm not sure that's really where this look is going, but you know, we can try it out and see how it goes. First, I'm going to line my lips with this pencil from e.l.f. I think this lip pencil has converted me to lip pencils. I never used to like them because I'd always had ones that you needed to sharpen and then I just didn't. So I'd use them, you know, 4 times and then put them in a drawer for a few months, and then I'd get them out again, sharpen it, and use it again another 4 times and put it away. Those twist up liners, man, those are a game changer. Next, I'm going to go in with this Dior lipstick in the shade 999. And yeah, that's not really the vibe, but okay. I like the look. I don't think the look necessarily goes with my shirt. I think a pink probably would have been better. How much time do I have? Yeah, I will actually go switch that out. And I think while I'm up, I will probably also grab a nice cooler shade to do a little bit more work on my brows. I returned bearing lipsticks. So I'm going to start out with this Flower Beauty lipstick. It is quite a bold pink shade and it's very matte. And I'm going to regret even trying the red because I can already see it at the corner of my mouth, and I thought that I'd done a really good job of getting it off. Now I'm going to top that off to mute it down a little bit. And for that, I'm going to use this Revlon Secret Club lipstick. Let me show you the color on that. It is much lighter and a lot more muted. It's also a cream finish rather than matte, so it just takes a lot of the edge off. Okay. I have no respect for my lip line, but we already knew that. Okay, now for the brows. So this is usually the shade that I use in my brows. However, because I've already gone so warm, and this is also a tiny bit warm, I think I'm actually going to use the shade just a little bit, especially in the outer half of my brow, to deepen things up and cool things down a little bit. I can get behind that. could not get behind whatever I did there, but you know. Okay. We're gonna stop while we are more or less ahead. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing if you did. Let me know what you think of this new Bambi release. I think it's cute overall, but the only thing that tempts me even a tiny amount is the Thumper palette. I think it verges a little too close on being like the Solstice palettes that they released at Ulta last spring. Okay, so before I go too deep down the rabbit hole, see what I did there of complaining about redundant Colourpop releases, I think it is time for me to sign off. So thanks again for watching, and I really hope I'll see you next time. Bye!